yourself and feel something you've never felt when he asks what else with Corey Man. I've been the one on the left full of guilt and regret, long gone on the wrong side of living. I've been the one on the right, always looking for a fight, thinking I can never be forgiven. I'm standing here today overwhelmed by grace, cause I know who paid my cost. Thank God for the man on the middle cross.
Rhett Walker, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, bub?
As you and I record this is today my 6th anniversary of hitting record with artists just like you.
When I got on this podcast, something felt special. You could smell it in the air.
It wasn't just my haircut. It wasn't just your amazing hat. It was...
Your hair, it does look good, though.
Thank you. After a haircut, that third day, it feels right. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like on the first, it feels weird. You don't know the outcome. And then the second day, you're just like back and forth. And then the third day, it's almost like the stones rolled away.
You were my 8th guest on this podcast, that first go-around. You were number 8.
Hey, that's Dale Jr.
It's also the Ocho, my favorite number in the lineup, Ocho.
It's in the lineup of all the numbers, number 8 is your favorite.
It's one of my favorite dad jokes. What did the 0 say to the 8? Nice belt.
That's pretty great.
Okay. Hey, let me jump into this real quick. Man on the Middle Cross. I love this dude. This picture I saw on social media of you meeting the pastor that inspired you to write that song. Can I hear that story, please?
Back up to the beginning, I was on my way to Nashville to write with Matthew and
Matthew West
and AJ Bruce, my producer. And man, I had nothing. Like I had no ideas, and I hate leaving April and the babies, especially when I'm off the road, to go write. And you don't end up coming up with anything that makes a record. It's just like, and you got to do that because art is subjective, and you chase some rabbits and you're like, oh, this might be cool. And then it just doesn't make the record. But I didn't have anything. And I was driving my truck to Nashville and just was like, Lord, give me something. And went to dinner with my friends. And of course, none of them say anything cool. So I didn't get nothing from them. Got back to the hotel room and was about to go to bed and started doom scrolling, TikTok. And came across this clip of Alistair Begg. He was talking about the man on the middle cross, but he said, hey, go with me for a second. How's this fit into your theology? He said, imagine you got the man on the left, the man on the right. He said, imagine the man on the right ends up in heaven and the angels are like, how'd you get here? Like, you didn't live a life worthy of spending eternity with Jesus in heaven. You literally walked the earth at the same time as Jesus. You didn't listen to his teachings, didn't go to hear any of his sermons or parables or anything. You didn't follow any of his teachings or ways. You were literally cussing the people out that was bringing him to the cross and his family before you died. You did nothing worthy of spending eternity with Jesus. How are you here? And he said, can you imagine if the man on the right said, look, I don't know how I got here. I don't know where I am. All I know is the man on the middle cross said, I can come. Man, I was laying in my bed at the hotel and I was like, God, what a beautiful picture of grace that I think we so easily skip over, because a lot of times we as Christians, we try to complicate this thing. And it's like, well, I got to read my utmost for his highest and my Proverbs of the day and my Psalm of the day and listen to 32 messages. And we almost make it into this like trophy Jesus thing where it's like, if I do enough, I can get in. And in the last minute of that guy's life, done nothing worthy of being in eternity with Jesus. At the last minute, he acknowledged and realized who the King of Kings was, who the I Am was, and he got to spend eternity. And grace is a hard thing to wrap your head around because it's like, how could that guy get in at the last minute? And I was saved at 17, tried my whole life. It's like, no, man, it ain't about anything we can do because we can't earn it and we don't deserve it. It's just about laying our life at Jesus's feet. Go to Matthew West's house the next day and, we're talking around and he goes, hey man, I was walking the dog last night and I came across this clip. Have you seen this? And I was like, Bo, we got to write this song or we're going to get struck by lightning or something because it's like God is just like here, here, here. And so we wrote the song, man, real quick. It was almost like God just gave it to us. And so I feel it's my job to just steward it as I travel across the country.
3 things that we do not know about Rhett Walker. I feel like I know quite a few things about Rhett Walker, but we haven't talked in a while. So give us 3 things.
Well, I gave up like sweet treats and junk food completely. Like I got into like Haribo gummies, the gas station, like Coke bottles and Twin Snakes. And I started hitting that when I was like in my mid 30s. I'm 37 this year, like 34. And I would stop at the gas station every day and get like a coffee and a Kit Kat or like, gummies or whatever. And I was like, I really need to stop this. And my dog got diabetes like 6 months ago.
Sounds like the beginning of one of your songs.
Yeah. It's so we have to give him insulin shots twice a day and like certain food and all that stuff. And I was like, man, if I don't get my act together with this junk food. So I've been eating super healthy, more of just a red meat and water, and been eating granola bars. So those things are hard to eat because half of it falls on the floor when you open it. It's just like.
If Rhett Walker came with a warning label, what would the warning label say in 2024?
Probably going to get canceled. Just probably. Like, we don't know when. It's probably going to get canceled. I'm going to hurt your feelings or offend you one way or the other. But also, I think, one of the warning labels, I will say this, I talk to anybody and everybody. So if you are busy, you don't need to come near me. And the other day, I was at the gas station for like 20 minutes talking to this old man about the weather. And I was like, I've hit that age. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I was like, look at it, dude. It's just sticky out there. What are we going to do about it? The pollen's everywhere. And it's a good conversation. So warning label, probably going to get canceled and probably going to talk your ear off.
Before someone meets you at the old merch table at one of your shows for the first time, what assumptions do they make about you? And once they're done meeting you, they say, man, I thought this about you or some language like that.
The thing I get the most is people will come through the merch line and ask my last hunt, how big the deer was or something like that. And they're always shocked to realize I don't hunt that much, like deer. It's too cold, and I swear I must have ADD because if I don't see a deer within the first 2 to 3 minutes, I'm out. Like, I don't care to listen to a squirrel walk around. Now, it's turkey season, so we're about to hit it pretty hard. But people's assumptions are just like I'm the most redneck person in the world, and I spend my off days, with my mullet friend working on a car.
That's not true.
It's not true. Mm-hmm. Like, no, I like to play video games when I'm on the road.
What are you currently playing?
Lately, I was playing this, it was a game where you're like not a sniper, but you're kind of like a CIA operative, but you have to get in and get out. I like playing military games. That or football games. And I'm counting down the days till the NCAA game comes out where we can play college football again. You remember playing that game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was so much fun to be your favorite college team. And so EA Sports is putting it back out.
Your team is in the game. My team is in the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
What are you really excited about right now? I saw like this great Disney World post and you're like some things I'm excited about, but I can't yet say. What are you most excited about?
I got a new record coming out. It'll be my 4th studio full-length record. It's my first with my new deal with BEC. They just gave me the reins on this thing. It was like, record what you want, make it the record you want to make it. I'm super excited about that. But one of the biggest things I'm most excited about, and I wasn't going to tell anybody, but you're too good of a friend. I would rather you be the first to hear it. I literally I was not going to tell anybody. I was just going to let it happen. We covered Creed Higher on this record, and it's full band. We didn't countryfy it. We just straight up ripped it off. I was like, I just want to do the exact rock and roll song. So I'm about to release a cover of Higher by Creed, and I couldn't be more excited.
And
I'm excited because I get to play, all these festivals are coming up, and I get to play it at all these festivals, so it's going to be so much fun.
Can I please tell you a quick story about that band and that song, please?
Yes, please do.
In my spare time, I'm trying stand-up comedy.
I've seen that, yeah.
And I've got a Creed joke that I've been brewing, and I haven't yet said it out loud, so I'm going to run it past you for this moment right here. Because I want to get into talking about music and my love of music. So it's going to be, who's excited about the Creed reunion this summer? And see if I get any kind of feedback. And then I'm going to bust into Creed. But here's the thing. When that song first came out, I played it. I was in mainstream radio, and I played it a lot. And I don't know what he was singing, but I thought he was saying, can you take me higher to a place where blind men ski? I'm like, I'm sure that's not it. What's the next verse? It's where old men sneeze. And then just do a whole bit about lyrics we've jacked up since the dawn of time.
Yeah, all the lyrics of that. That's pretty good. Where blind men ski comes so out of nowhere that it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Because you also know that chorus, so you're in it. You're start to sing it, and then you hit ski. I love it, dude. I told the label I want to do the same Spotify cover, where it's like them standing, he's singing, and the camera's just going around.
Yes.
But my thought was like, they're huge again. I remember where I was when I first heard that song. I was in my uncle's car on the way to church, and I was like, dude, this is killer, and I grew up on that time, man. Like, I always wanted to, Chris Cornell was one of my biggest heroes musically. That music shaped a lot of why I do what I do. But then I was like, man, I just want to cover a fun song. I want something big and fun. So we'll come in swinging with Creed higher at these festivals. It's going to be, and I think everybody at first, they're going to hear like that intro and be like, there ain't no way.
He's going there.
And you can come with me too. We're blind men ski.
We're blind men ski. Get your hand movements ready and make sure you prop up one of your legs on your wedge.
Monitor.
Yeah.
Should I buy leather pants?
There's the highlight clip for this podcast right there. Should I buy leather pants? I want you to wear cutoff jeans because right out of higher, you're going to go, cut my jeans into pieces. They're now a pair of jorts. Let me put you on the spot. Favorite Chris Cornell vocal? Go.
Oh gosh, Highway.
From Audio Sleeve.
Audio Slave.
Audio Sleeve. I thought that's what they were called. Okay, another wrong thing.
You're messing it all up.
You said something about signing a new deal to your label. Two-part question. Right before you sign the ink on the paper. Hey, let's do it this way this time around. Part two, hey, let's make sure we don't do it this way this time around. Something you did previously, you're like, I don't want to do it that way again. And then moving forward into a new deal, like, man, I got to make sure I do it this way this time.
Yeah. First go around, it was Rhett Walker Band. It was always just me, but the label wanted it to look like a band because when I came on, it was just a bunch of dudes with acoustics, on the airwaves. And so they're like, this will separate it. I think I lost a little bit of my identity and always fought for my identity to stay up front because, it was band, it was this, and I'd had this idea of since I was a kid of what I wanted to be like. We had quick success. Got the Grammy nomination with When Mercy Found Me, and then kind of took off. And I kept hearing, hey, this sounds too country, or you sound too country, re-sing this vocal 4 times. And so I went into this record, this new deal going, I want to do what I feel called to do. And I'm not going to people please, because when I people pleased in the past, it gave a doorway or a false reality to the people I worked with to be like, oh, Rhett's cool with this. If I wasn't going to speak my mind, as redneck as I could be, a lot of times I will tend to people please if it makes it easier, or I want them to be proud too. When this go around, I was just like, man, I know who I am. I think a lot of it happened too in my mid 30s. I think you start to round out, a little bit more, and you're like, man, I don't care what people think as much anymore. Not in a mean way, but in more of I'm not going to do this way because they want it to. I'm called to this. God gave me this calling. I have to steward it. I can't look through their lens to steward it. So when I came into BEC, it was 100% like, man, I want to do this. I want to make this type of record. It's a half Christian radio record. It's a half country record. And it's smack dab in the middle. There's a song that pulls it all together. And I had this idea of like, this is the way I want to be, lost and found. And I want to write songs about my wife and my kids and my favorite truck. And I want to write songs about the man on the middle cross. And Brandon Ebel is just like, I love that. Like, have at it, you know. And then they've backed it up. And so I think the biggest thing was, and I think it's why I'm so excited about this record. This is probably the most pure Rhett record that I've ever put out. Every record I put out, I'm proud of, and I can hang my hat on. But this would honestly be just the purest Rhett record you'll ever hear.
I want to jot the release date down. Do you have that squared away yet?
No, we don't have it yet. I've got 2 more songs to sing. Probably be, in the summer, fall. I think.
Boy, I remember exactly where I was when I heard that first record, and I was so excited because that's my kind of music. We've had this conversation so many times, but I'll just tell you one more time because I wanted to encourage you that, was that 2012?
2012, yeah.
Yeah.
He's championed me since for a long time, man.
So my son he's 5 years old. He's at a gymnastics class. I am in the parking lot and I get this CD that's been burned. Don't tell anybody, from someone that rhymes with Schmarl Schman Schmike. I remember listening to it and I was just like, this is what I've been waiting for. I don't even care if there's a song that goes to radio. This is the kind of music I like listening to. And then we finally got to meet a few months later. I'm like, this is the guy I want singing that song. The cool jean jacket, and the wings, and the hat, and the thing, and and I was excited for you. And I've loved you ever since. So I'm glad to hear that you've got it dialed in, that this record is you. This is not another person's version of you. I think the tough thing about our industry, if I can get on my soapbox for a minute, is God calls the artist to be very specific to who they are, but then here come the other distracting voices. Yeah. And it ain't going to sell unless you do this, or we're not going to get a tour unless you do or look like this. And then it's like, well, what happened to God's fingerprint on this whole thing?
Well, it's wild too, because hold on one second. Ralph, food's here. So sorry, I was trying to be quiet about that.
What kind of food? Follow-up question. What kind of food?
Chick-fil-A, baby.
Okay.
So God's favorite, and we had, here's the thing, Chick-fil-A, it's not the best chicken out there. It's just convenient and consistent, I'm not a huge fan of it because I don't like being lied to. And, you go in there, the homeschooled teenage boy tells you his favorite Bible verse, you order, and then what does he say?
My pleasure.
Do you think it really is a 17-year-old boy's pleasure to stand in 150-degree heat, Georgia heat, and take your Chick-fil-A order? Liars. Bunch of liars.
I like to always ask, is it? And then give them eye contact.
Tell the truth, boy.
Yeah.
I like to go to Popeyes where they don't lie to you, and they're just straight up. They'll just be like, why are you here? We're out of chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Your sandwich is better. Give it to me.
Yep. But I'll say this, man, going back to what you said, you put out, a lot of people don't understand too, you put out your first record, that's songs you've written over the past 10 years. This ain't like, hey, you're on a record cycle, we need to get this done. You're talking this, I wrote some of them when I was 18 years old, with me and April's story. So you write your best songs, a label signs you, you're out for a year, and they're like, hey, we need another one of those. And it's like, well, I wrote that one. I can't do When Mercy Found Me Part 2. I'm not even in that stage of season in life anymore. I'm in this life now, or I'm in this season. And so art is subjective. I've never been one to put Jesus into a song in hopes that radio will play it. I just really want to try my best to write songs about life lived and lessons learned. And, and I think this record, man, I've got a few songs on there that, they're just like this mid-tempo kind of Americana country type stuff that are singing, one of the lines is, Fridays I spend living out my old familiar ways. Sundays I spend living out these more forgiven days. Jesus, can you tell me, am I free or am I bound? Because right now I feel more lost than found. And it's just these really honest songs that call people to question, everything. Like, are you living your life honoring Jesus on purpose, or are you just kind of going about your day? Are you actually praying? Are you taking things to to his feet before you just make life decisions. And it's a big record for me, and I'm super stoked about it.
Final question, and then final favor. You posted a picture of a new hoodie and some real nice beef chomps that April got you. What does it mean to you to have a wife like her be so supportive of you and who you are?
I wouldn't be on this Zoom call if I didn't have her, honestly. She's the one that's kept me on track and pushing in my career when I get burnt out, when I'm, seeing the same Marriott Bonvoy hotel, in the same rental car. And, the thing, it's like the fans are the things during the weekends that make the traveling worth it. When I get home and I'm exhausted and I'm going, man, this tour is just, hard on me, or the festival season is 4:30 lobby calls every morning. She's the one that's like, yeah, but why are we doing this? We're not just singing songs. We're not just, playing music. There's a reason and a calling behind this. And this is what God called you to. And so she's the one that keeps pushing me. And then I'll show up, and the chomps, which are my favorite beef sticks right now, and then that hoodie, just because, and so she really lives that out every day, and nothing really phases her, which is a good thing because I can get all twisted up easily. Have you been to Walmart lately?
I have.
I think y'all kind of mad at everybody.
You know what's interesting about Walmart is when you walk through there and you have a quick look at these people. Look over there and look at that guy and look at that gal. And then you have the moment of, wait a minute, I'm here too. I'm right in the middle with all of them.
And I ain't even wearing shoes. Hey, they gotten too big for their britches, though. You ain't Costco. Quit trying to check my receipt at the door. If you're going to make me ring it up, you're just going to have to trust me. I'll walk right by them. They're like, sir, can I check your receipt? And I just keep going. They're like, sir. And I'm like, no. You got two options. You either ring it up or you're going to have to trust that I rung it all up.
Yeah. You should have met me at the kiosk.
Yep. You better not try sending me a 1099. Tell you that.
And with that, Rhett, always a pleasure.
My friend, same to you, bud.
What Else with Corey Mann? With your host, Corey Mann. Original music and theme song by Chris Cron. Share this episode with a friend, and thanks for listening.